Alright, hello to whoever may be watching this, whoever you are, whenever you're watching this. Hopefully it's before December 1st. Wherever you're watching this, thank you so much for taking the time to click on the video. What I wanted to do here was make a prediction video for the upcoming Game Awards. It's titled the Game Awards 2016. It takes place on December 1st. That's about a week and a half from when I'm recording this. I'm recording on November 21st, so December 1st is the awards. And on the website, there's like a countdown timer, and it says, how many like days, hours, minutes, etc. till showtime. And I figured out it ends at about 6 p.m. Central Time, so that's when the till showtime thing is. But then when you go to where it says watch the show on the website, it says live coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So I don't know if it's going to be starting at 7:30 p.m. Central Time or 6 o'clock Central Time. Either way, it's in the evening, and you can watch it on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and there's plenty of other places you can watch it as well, so it'll be everywhere. I guess it wasn't very well like advertised or stuff, because I haven't heard anyone like talk about this really. Like the show isn't getting any buzz, but the nominations came out a week ago, and I remember watching the awards last year and really enjoying it, so I figured why not make a little prediction video and try to guess who's going to win these awards. So I'm just going to go down through all the nominations. There's 18 jury voted awards, which means those are awards that like professional video game news outlets vote for. And then there's 6 other awards that are like fan voted awards. So I'm gonna go through all the jury voted ones and just talk briefly about the fan voted ones. But as far as jury voted ones go, there's a lot of interesting awards, and when I was trying to make my predictions, I was going back and forth between a lot of them, couldn't make up my mind, was very indecisive, and even just an hour or two before I'm making this video, I was like switching my picks and stuff. So, but as of now, this is what I'm going with. So for Game of the Year, the nominees are Doom, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. And I think Uncharted 4 is going to win. It has the highest Metacritic score out of any of these games, and it also, out of these games, it comes from the most well-known and popular franchise. And Doom and Titanfall 2, which I guess are very solid games, I don't think they have any shot. Inside has a small chance of winning, but it's hard to compare like a small game like Inside to some of these bigger titles. Overwatch, maybe, but I highly doubt it. I think Uncharted 4 is the clear winner for Game of the Year. The next category is Best Game Direction. So that's like a developer company who makes the video games. And this category is kind of interesting because I went on the website for the Game Awards. I'm also going to put the website for the awards in the description of this video. But I went to the nominees, and it says for Best Studio/Game Direction, and the description is recognizing a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. And then when you click the nominees, it lists 5 studios, and then it says 4, and then one single game that they produced. So the nominees are Blizzard, EA Dice, id Software, Naughty Dog, and Respawn Entertainment. 3 out of 5 of these nominees made one game this year, and the other 2 each made 2 games. So Blizzard had Overwatch, and they also did a DLC for World of Warcraft called World of Warcraft Legion, I think. EA Dice had Battlefield 1 as well as Mirror's Edge Catalyst. And I think, and the other developers had their games as well. I think Blizzard is going to win this one, just for making Overwatch, which is like a lot of people's game of the year, and they also made a really high quality DLC. But based on the description, they're talking about innovation in game design and direction. I could totally see like id Software winning this because they made Doom, which is pretty impressive for them to make a game that from a franchise that was so popular in the 90s, but we haven't seen a Doom game like at all in recent years. So for them to make like a really high quality modern version of it was pretty impressive. So maybe id Software or EA for for Battlefield. But I'm going to go with Blizzard on this one. So best game direction, I think Blizzard's going to win it. Best independent game, the nominees are Firewatch, Hyper Light Drifter, Inside, Stardew Valley, and The Witness. Surprisingly, I've heard a lot of people talk about The Witness, and based on what people have said, I would have expected it to receive a lot of nominations at this award show, but for Best Independent Game, this is the only nomination it's getting. So for that alone, I think The Witness is probably going to win that award because they got to give it like some type of recognition, I would think. I also thought Inside might win it, but Inside is getting a lot of nominations, so I think it'll win. Inside will probably win in other areas, but I think The Witness for Best Independent Game is who I'm going to go with. And yeah, that's it for Best Independent Game. Next category is Best Mobile/Handheld Game. The nominees are Clash Royale, Fire Emblem Fates, Monster Hunter Generations, Pokemon Go, and Severed. Originally, I thought Pokemon Go might win this. Pokemon Go is interesting because it only has a score of like 68 on Metacritic, because there's not really like a lot of game to it. Like it's not a very deep game, and I think it's more so just a phenomenon that happened this year than like a very like high quality game. But I think Pokemon Go was so big this year for like the gaming industry and stuff that they gotta give it an award for something. So I'll mention the award that they're gonna get, that I think they're gonna get later. But for Best Mobile and Handheld Game, I think it's gonna go to Fire Emblem Fates, which is a game that came out on the 3DS. It had a pretty high Metacritic score. It came out last year in Japan, actually. Same thing with Monster Hunter Generations, but I think, when I was thinking about this, I'm like, alright, it's going to be Pokemon Go or Fire Emblem Fates, and after going back and forth, I think I'm going to go with Fire Emblem Fates. Best Narrative is the next category, so that's like Best Story. The nominees are Firewatch, Inside, Mafia 3, Oxenfree, and Uncharted 4. This was a very hard category to choose from. I think it's going to go to Mafia 3. Mafia 3 only has like a 68 on Metacritic, which was something that surprised me when I checked it, but the story of the game is apparently like one of the only good qualities of the game. Like, people complain about the gameplay, but the story is like the big draw, I guess. But I mean, Inside apparently is known for its narrative. Uncharted 4 for its characters, and the build up to the end of the Nathan Drake kind of story and all these different characters. Uncharted 4 might win it. Inside might win it. Firewatch even might win it, because that was like a draw of that game, even though a lot of people didn't like Firewatch as much as these other games. But overall, I think Mafia 3 is going to win this. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, I'm going to pick Mafia 3 for Best Narrative. Best Music / Sound Design. The nominees are Battlefield 1, Doom, Inside, Res Infinite, and Thumper. This is interesting because 3 of these games are just like normal games, and then the other 2, which are Res Infinite and Thumper, are rhythm games. Like, music is like the main point of them. So it's hard to kind of compare rhythm games to games from other genres and objectively look at the music and decide which is better. I originally had Thumper, which is a rhythm game, but I'm actually going to switch it to Inside for Best Music and Sound Design, because I was reading on Wikipedia, there's like a little section about its music and some cool stuff they were doing in the game. So just in general, for all these nominations, I think Inside could potentially take several awards, but and I think Best Music / Sound Design is going to be one of those. So Inside for that. Best Performance is the next category. You have Alex Hernandez as Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3, Cissy Jones as Delilah in Firewatch, Emily Rose as Elena in Uncharted 4, Nolan North as Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4, Rich Summer as Henry in Firewatch, and Troy Baker as Sam Drake in Uncharted 4. So 3 out of 6 of these nominees are from Uncharted 4, and 2 are from Firewatch. I think Cissy Jones as Delilah from Firewatch is going to win it, because that was definitely one of the focal points of the game. In Firewatch was Delilah and Henry kind of talking back and forth over like this walkie-talkie, and I think her character was like really interesting, and the voice actress, I think, deserves a lot of credit for that. So I think Cissy Jones will win Best Performance. Next category, Games for Impact. That's Games for Impact is the name of the category. The nominees are 1979 Revolution, Black Friday, Blockhood, Orwell, Sea Hero Quest, and That Dragon Cancer. I didn't know a lot about most of these games, but the one that I did know about was That Dragon Cancer, which the developer, or the guy who kind of directed the game or had a big say in the production of the game, he was a father whose infant son died of cancer, and that's kind of what the game is about. It's like really sad and kind of an emotional game. So I think with a category title called Games for Impact, which on the website it says, for a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message, I think a game like that, that's inspired by real-world tragic events, should deserve the award for that category. So that's why I think that Dragon Cancer will win Games for Impact. Best Action Adventure, the nominees are Dishonored 2, Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet and Clank, and Uncharted 4. I think Uncharted 4 is going to take this one. Uncharted 4, by the way, has the most nominations out of any game for this award show. I think it has like 7 or 8 nominations, so I think it's going to take a couple. So besides Game of the Year, I think Uncharted 4 will also win Best Action Adventure Game. I will say real quick, I have no idea why Hitman is being nominated. That was a game I heard nothing about all year, and I looked at the Metacritic score and it was like pretty low. So I think they could have added like Watch Dogs 2 or maybe even like Far Cry Primal for Best Action Adventure. I know those are sandbox games, but still, I think you could have taken out Hitman easily and replaced it. But anyway, Uncharted 4 for Best Action Adventure. Best Role-Playing Game, the nominees are Dark Souls 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine, which is a DLC for The Witcher 3, World of Warcraft Legion, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade actually came out at the end of last year, but because the award show takes place on December 1st, on the website it says any game that comes out November 24th or later in the year is only eligible for the award next year, because of the timing of when they do the award show. But for Best Role-Playing Game, I think Dark Souls 3 is going to win. Had a pretty high Metacritic score. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the DLC, is actually one of the highest scored Metacritic games this year, but I don't think it's going to win because it is just a DLC, and The Witcher 3 received so many awards last year that I don't think they're going to draw more attention to it. So I think Dark Souls 3 is going to win that one. Best Fighting Game, the nominees are Killer Instinct Season 3, The King of Fighters 14, Pokken Tournament, and Street Fighter 5. This one was kind of hard to choose because I don't think there's a clear winner here. I think these are all kind of weak choices. Killer Instinct Season 3 is who I think is going to win this. It had an 85 Metacritic score, which is pretty solid, but it is also a DLC for a game that came out like 3 years ago. So it was kind of hard for me to choose that one. The other one I was thinking about was King of Fighters 14, but that game isn't very popular. It has an 80 on Metacritic. Street Fighter 5 was a big letdown, I guess. It only has like a 75 on Metacritic, even though Street Fighter 4 got like, I think almost like a 90 or something. So that was kind of a letdown for people. So it was hard to choose a game for this category because I think they're all kind of weak choices, to be honest. But I think Killer Instinct Season 3 is going to win if I had to choose. Next one is Best Family Game. You have Dragon Quest Builders, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, Pokemon Go, Ratchet and Clank, and Skylanders Imaginators. I mentioned Pokemon Go earlier as it was being nominated for Best Mobile/Handheld Game. I think it's going to win Best Family Game, even though I don't look at it like a family game. That's just a really weird category, Best Family Game, because like Ratchet and Clank is a nominee for it. I don't think that's like really a family game at all. I think of like Skylanders and Lego Star Wars being more so a family game, but I think Pokemon Go, like I said, was just such a huge phenomenon this year that they got to give it an award for something, and a lot of these other games being nominated for Best Family Game aren't very popular. So I think Pokemon Go is going to win that one. Best sports/racing game, you got FIFA 17, Forza Horizon 3, MLB The Show 16, NBA 2K17, Pro Evolution Soccer 2017. I think for Forza Horizon 3 will win this one. It had a really high Metacritic score, around 90, and you know, it is hard to compare racing games with sports games, especially when the racing game isn't something like NASCAR, which is, you know, I guess people call it a sport, but you know, it was hard to pick a winner for this game. I kind of just went through the Metacritic scores, and you know, Forza Horizon is like the unique one of the group, so that's why I think it's going to win that and the high Metacritic score. Best multiplayer is the next award. You have the nominees: Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, Overcooked, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege was another game like Xenoblade that came out at the end of last year, but is being nominated for this year. And I think Overwatch is the clear winner here, because Overwatch is a multiplayer only game. So that, also including the fact that it's such a high quality game with a high Metacritic score, I mean, it has some competition here, but just the fact that it's only multiplayer game, so that's all it focuses on. And it's, you know, Overwatch is a great game, but it's not going to win Game of the Year, so it's got to win in another category, I would think. So that's why I think Best Multiplayer goes to Overwatch. Best Art Direction is the next award. You have the nominees: Abzu, Firewatch, Inside, Overwatch, and Uncharted 4. I think Inside's the clear winner here. If you don't know what Inside is, it's kind of the spiritual successor to Limbo. So the art style is very interesting because it's like black and white and very stylistic, and it's kind of a side-scrolling game. So I think Inside is definitely going to win Best Art Direction out of all the awards it's being nominated for. Abzu is known for its art style, but as a game as a whole, it's not that well known and didn't have that high of a Metacritic score. So I think Inside is just kind of like the better version of that. So I think Inside will win Best Art Direction. Best Strategy Game, the nominees are Civilization 6, Fire Emblem Fates, The Banner Saga 2, Total War Warhammer, and XCOM 2. For me, it was kind of a toss-up between Civilization 6, which just came out like a month ago, very high Metacritic scores, but because it's a game that's only on PC, not a lot of people play it, whereas XCOM 2 is also on console, I think. I think it's on console, as well as PC, so it's more well known and stuff. XCOM 2 has about the same Metacritic score as Civilization 6, but I think just it being more well known and kind of less niche will help it in winning the award. Then the next award is Best Action Game. The nominees are Battlefield 1, Doom, Gears of War 4, Overwatch, and Titanfall 2. I think Battlefield 1 is going to win this because Battlefield 1 is a great game. There were a lot of shooters that came out this year, and actually looking at the nominees for Best Action Game, they could have just called it Best Shooter because it's all shooters. But I think Battlefield 1 is going to win this because it is such a great game, so it's got to win an award somewhere. And it has a higher Metacritic score than everything except it's about even with Titanfall 2, and Overwatch is higher on Metacritic as well, but I think Battlefield 1 is going to take this because it's got to win an award somewhere, I would think. And then Best VR Game, is the last category that's jury nominated. You have Batman Arkham VR, Eve Valkyrie, Job Simulator, Res Infinite, and Thumper. I think Batman Arkham VR is going to win this one. It had decent ratings on Metacritic, I think around 80. But I think just as an experience, it really makes you feel like Batman. And again, I've never tried it. I'm just speaking on what the general public is saying. But yeah, I think because I mean this was a hard category to choose from. Eve Valkyrie only has like a 68 on Metacritic, but that's without VR. With VR, people have said it's a really great experience, but there's like no Metacritic score for that. Job Simulator is a very simple game that without VR would be like completely pointless, but with VR, I think it really kind of encompasses what VR is, so that could win. But overall, after going back and forth between several nominations, I think Batman Arkham VR is going to win Best VR Game. So that does it for the jury nominated awards. I also apologize that this video is going so long. It's like 26 minutes right now, but I like talking about this stuff. I'll just briefly cover the Fans' Choice Awards, the ones that I want to talk about at least. I'm not going to talk about all 6 of them. Probably the most interesting one is Most Anticipated Game. The nominees are God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think probably Legend of Zelda is going to win this, but if Red Dead Redemption 2 wins this, I would not be surprised. It's funny because a couple months ago, we had no idea that that game was going to be announced like a month later, and then we get the release date that's coming out next year, whereas Legend of Zelda we've known about for a long time. But I mean, still, I think Zelda is probably going to win that award. The other one I could see maybe winning is Horizon, just because that game has received a lot of hype and people have high hopes for it since it was revealed at E3, but I don't know, I think Zelda's going to win that one. I'm not going to talk about the other fan-nominated awards because they're like esports and stuff like that. Very brief notes real quick. I think, let's see. There were a couple games that came out this year, like Bravely Second, which was the sequel to Bravely Default, which is a 3DS RPG game that I'm kind of surprised wasn't like nominated for anything because it was very well received and people really liked the first game. So I don't know, that maybe could have been nominated. I know The Division had a lot of talk when it came out at the beginning of the year, but I understand why it wasn't nominated because there's a lot of shooters out there. Quantum Break was a game that I guess disappointed a lot of people, and I was trying to think what it could be nominated for, maybe like narrative or something, but it's hard to compete against those nominees. And then, I mean, for most anticipated game, which was the fan award that I just read off, at first I was thinking, okay, these games got to come out in 2017, but God of War is on that list, and we don't know when God of War is going to come out. It doesn't even have a release date for 2017. Yeah, I guess on the website it says must be released after December 1st, 2016 at any time. So, I mean, there's so many more games out there that could have been nominated for that award, like Persona 5. I know that's already out in Japan, but still, it could be anticipated for 2017. Shenmue 3, which we have no idea when that's coming out, but you know, I think people are really excited for that. Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously, there's been hype for that game for 10 years. Resident Evil 7. the Spider-Man game. There's a bunch of games that could have been nominated, I think, over God of War even. So it's interesting that that's there. I do have a couple more notes that I want to talk about, but I'm just going to end this because I'm at like 30 minutes right now. So yeah, those are my predictions for the 2016 Game Awards show. After the show, sometime after December 1st, I'm going to post in the comments down below how many of my predictions I got right. I'm hoping to get at least 15 out of the 18 jury nominated awards, which is kind of ambitious, but I think I can do it. Yeah, I'll put a couple links in the description for some of this information that you can look into yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope anyone who may be watching this is doing well. Have a good day, have a good week, have a good month, have a good year. And yeah, I guess like, dislike, share, whatever you want to do with this video. Just do you. And yeah, looking forward to the 2016 Game Awards. I hope they are exciting. I hope anyone who's watching this is going to watch it too. And yeah, that's basically it. Have a great day, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye.